The Galactic Unity Station floated in the dark, empty space between three star systems. It was a huge place, bigger than any city on Earth. More than 50 different alien species lived and worked there. They came from planets that humans had never seen. Some of them had 4 arms. Some of them glowed in the dark. Some of them did not have bodies at all. They were just clouds of light that could think and talk. Yoon Dae-ho had lived on this station for 2 years. He was a human man from Korea, and he was 34 years old. Back on Earth, he had owned a small restaurant in Seoul. He cooked Korean food for people who came hungry and left happy. But then, the Galactic Council asked for humans who could teach aliens about Earth culture. Dae-ho said yes. He thought it would be a good adventure. But the adventure was not what he expected. On the station, almost nobody wanted to eat his food. The aliens did not understand cooking. Most of them had stopped using fire millions of years ago. They got their energy from pills, or from light, or from special liquids that their bodies could absorb. The idea of burning things to make food seemed strange and dangerous to them. Dae-ho's restaurant on the station was always empty. He sat there every day, waiting for customers who never came. Sometimes a curious alien would walk past and look at his menu, but when they saw words like grilled and roasted, they would shake their heads and walk away. Fire was scary to them. Fire was something that destroyed things, not something that made food taste good. One morning, Dae-ho was cleaning his empty restaurant when his friend Kim Sora walked in. Sora was also human. She worked as a food scientist on the station. Her job was to make sure that the food for humans was safe and healthy. She was a smart woman with short black hair and quick eyes that noticed everything. "Dae-ho," she said, "I have news. Big news." Dae-ho put down his cleaning cloth. "Good news or bad news?" "I am not sure," Sora said. She handed him a tablet with a message on it. "The Intergalactic Culinary Academy wants you. They want you to show your cooking to their students." Dae-ho read the message 3 times. The Culinary Academy was the most famous cooking school in the galaxy. But they did not teach cooking like Dae-ho knew it. They taught things like molecular food design and nutrient synthesis. They made food using machines and chemistry, not fire and pans. No human had ever been invited there before. "Why do they want me?" Dae-ho asked. "They call it a cultural exchange program," Sora explained. "They want to show their students how different species make food. You will represent humans." Dae-ho felt his heart beat faster. This was his chance. Finally, someone wanted to see what human cooking could do. But then he read more of the message, and his excitement turned cold. "No open flames," he read out loud. "No combustion of any kind. All cooking must follow station safety rules." Sora nodded slowly. "I know. The station has very strict rules about fire. If you start a fire, the emergency systems will turn on, doors will close, alarms will sound. It could cause a lot of problems." Dae-ho sat down heavily in a chair. Korean cooking needed heat. It needed fire. How could he make samgyeopsal without a grill? How could he make kimchi jjigae without boiling it? The aliens wanted to see human cooking, but they would not let him actually cook. "Maybe I should say no," he said quietly. "Maybe," Sora agreed. "But think about it, Dae-ho. When will you get another chance like this? The whole galaxy thinks human food is primitive and dangerous. This is your chance to show them they are wrong." Dae-ho thought about his grandmother. She had taught him to cook when he was a little boy. She always said that food was love made visible. When you cooked for someone, you gave them a piece of your heart. She had died 10 years ago, but Dae-ho still remembered her words every time he picked up a knife or lit a stove. "There must be a way," he said. "The rules say no combustion, but maybe there is another way to make heat. A way that is safe, but still works like fire." Sora's eyes lit up. "You have an idea?" "Not yet," Dae-ho admitted. "But I will find one. I have to." He stood up and looked around his empty restaurant. Soon, it would not be empty anymore. Soon the whole station would know what Korean food could do. He just had to find a way to make fire without fire. He sent his reply to the academy. Yes, he would come. Yes, he would show them human cooking. And somehow, he would make it work. The demonstration was in 3 days. Daeho had 72 hours to solve a problem that seemed impossible. But he was a chef. Chefs solved problems every day. They turned simple ingredients into wonderful meals. They made people happy with nothing but food and skill. This was just another problem to solve. A bigger one, maybe, but not impossible. Nothing was impossible if you tried hard enough. Daeho walked to the window of his restaurant and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, millions of beings were eating their nutrient pills and their energy cubes. They had never tasted real food. They had never felt the joy of a perfect meal. He was going to change that. He did not know how yet, but he was going to change everything. Daeho did not sleep that night. He sat in his small room and thought about the problem. He needed heat, real heat, the kind that could cook meat and make it brown and delicious. But he could not use fire. The station's computers would detect it in seconds and shut everything down. In the morning, he went to the engineering section of the station. This was where the aliens who built and fixed things worked. Daeho had never been there before. The hallways were full of strange machines and blinking lights. Workers with 6 legs walked past him, carrying tools he did not recognize. He found the head engineer, a tall Malorian named Boris. Malorians had 4 arms and blue skin. They were known for being very good at building things. Boris looked at Daeho with curious eyes. "A human," Boris said. "I do not see many of your kind here. What do you need?" Daeho explained his problem. He needed to make heat without fire. He needed something that could reach high temperatures but would not trigger the safety systems. Boris listened carefully, all 4 of his hands folded together. "This is interesting," Boris said when Daeho finished. "You want to use heat to change the chemical structure of organic matter. We stopped doing this long ago, but the science is simple. Let me think." He walked to a large computer and typed with all 4 hands at the same time. Numbers and diagrams appeared on the screen. Daeho could not understand any of it. "Plasma," Boris finally said. "We use plasma containment fields to power our engines. The plasma is very hot, but it is held inside a special energy field. Nothing burns, nothing catches fire. The heat stays exactly where we want it." "Can you make it smaller?" Daeho asked. "Small enough to cook food on?" Boris smiled. At least, Daeho thought it was a smile. It was hard to tell with aliens. "I can try. This will be a fun project. I have not built anything new in a long time." For the next 2 days, Daeho worked with Boris and his team. They took apart engine components and rebuilt them into something new. Sora came to help too. She made sure the heat levels would be safe for cooking food. She ran tests to check that the plasma would not add any dangerous chemicals to the meat. Other engineers came to watch. They had never seen anyone try to use their technology for something so strange. Some of them laughed at first. Why would anyone want to heat food? But as they watched Daeho explain what he was trying to do, they became curious. They started to help. On the second day, the plasma grill was ready. It was a flat metal surface with a glowing blue field around it. The field trapped the heat inside. You could put your hand right next to it and feel nothing. But when you touched the metal surface, it was hot enough to cook anything. "This is amazing," Daeho said. He had never seen anything like it. It was like magic. Hot, but not dangerous. Powerful, but safe. Boris looked proud. "It is not magic. It is engineering. But I am glad you like it. I have never built a cooking machine before. It was more fun than I expected." Sora checked the readings one more time. "The station's safety systems will not detect this as a fire. Technically, there is no combustion happening. The rules say no burning. This is not burning. It is just very precise heating." "A loophole," Daeho said with a small smile. A legal loophole, Sora corrected him. There is a difference. The day of the demonstration came. Daeho woke up early and prepared his ingredients. He had real pork belly from the human food supplies. He had garlic and onions and sesame oil. He had kimchi that he had made himself, following his grandmother's recipe. He had fresh rice and lettuce for wrapping. Everything was ready. Sora helped him carry the plasma grill to the Culinary Academy. The hallways were busy with students going to their classes. They all stopped to stare at the strange blue glowing machine. Whispers followed Daeho everywhere he went. Is that human technology? One student asked. It is now, Daeho answered. The academy kitchen was huge and white and very clean. Everything was made of smooth metal and glass. There were machines everywhere, but none of them looked like cooking equipment that Daeho knew. No stoves, no ovens, no grills, just strange devices that hummed and blinked. The instructor was waiting for him. Her name was Velnis, and she was also a Malorian like Boris. But where Boris was friendly and curious, Velnis looked serious and a little suspicious. She crossed all four of her arms when she saw the plasma grill. What is this device? She asked. This is my cooking station, Daeho said calmly. It uses plasma containment technology. No fire, no combustion, completely safe. Velnis looked at the grill for a long time. Then she looked at Daeho. We will see, she said. We will see if your primitive methods can impress anyone here. Daeho just smiled. He was ready. Whatever happened next, he was going to show them what human cooking could really do. The demonstration began at midday. 12 students stood at their stations around the kitchen. They were all different species. Daeho saw Torvik, a big creature from a planet called Grundor. Torvik's people looked like gray rocks with arms and legs. They only ate special nutrient blocks that were made in factories. Torvik had never eaten anything else in his whole life. There was also Lyrae, a beautiful being made of soft light. She came from a species called the Sylphery. Her people did not eat food at all. They absorbed energy from light, like plants on Earth. She floated above the ground, her body shifting between pink and gold colors. She had come to the academy to study how other species nourished themselves. Instructor Velnis explained the challenge. Each student had to prepare a dish that showed their species' food traditions. The other students would judge the dishes on 3 things: nutrition, appearance, and creativity. Daeho listened carefully, but he was not worried about the rules. He had something better than rules. He had flavor. The students began to work. Torvik pressed buttons on a machine that formed gray cubes of nutrients. Lyrae arranged colored lights into a pretty pattern that somehow contained energy. Other students mixed chemicals and used devices that Daeho could not understand. Daeho turned on his plasma grill. The blue field hummed to life. The metal surface began to glow with heat. Every eye in the room turned to look. They had never seen anything like it. The heat was visible, rising from the grill in waves that made the air shimmer. He placed the first slice of pork belly on the grill. The moment the meat touched the hot surface, something magical happened. A sound filled the kitchen, a sizzling, crackling sound that echoed off the clean white walls. The students froze. They had never heard anything like this before. Then came the smell. The aroma of cooking pork spread through the air. It was rich and savory, with hints of fat turning golden and crispy. The smell traveled through the ventilation system. It flowed into the hallways. It reached classrooms and offices and living spaces. Within minutes, aliens from all over the station began to notice something strange and wonderful. Torvik stopped pressing buttons on his nutrient machine. His rocky body turned toward Daeho's station. Deep inside him, in a part of his brain that his species had forgotten about, something woke up. His ancestors, millions of years ago, had known this smell. They had cooked food over fires on their home planet. They had felt hunger and satisfaction. Torvik felt these ancient feelings now, and he did not understand them. Lyrae floated closer. She could see the heat rising from the grill. To her eyes, it was beautiful. The thermal energy created patterns that she had never witnessed before. Her body began to absorb some of this heat, and she felt something new. It was like tasting light, but different, warmer, richer. More aliens began to arrive at the kitchen. They came from everywhere. Some of them had never visited the Culinary Academy before. They did not know why they were walking toward this room. They only knew that something was calling to them, something deep and primal that their advanced civilizations had tried to leave behind. Velnus tried to maintain order. "This is a closed demonstration," she called out. But more and more beings pushed into the kitchen. Soon there were 50 of them, then 100. They crowded around Daiho's station, watching him flip the meat, watching the fat bubble and turn golden. The crowd pushed forward. Someone bumped into Daiho's cooking station. The plasma containment field flickered. For one terrible moment, the blue glow disappeared completely. Real fire burst from the grill. Orange flames jumped into the air. Actual fire, burning openly in the space station. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. The station's computer announced an emergency in a calm, cold voice. "Fire detected in Culinary Academy. Emergency protocols activated. Please evacuate." Velnus shouted commands in 3 different languages. Students ran in all directions. The crowd of visitors tried to escape through doors that were beginning to close automatically. Chaos filled the kitchen, but Daiho did not panic. He had worked in busy kitchens for 15 years. He had seen fires before. He knew exactly what to do. With calm, practiced movements, he grabbed a metal pot lid from his supplies. He placed it over the flames, cutting off the oxygen. The fire died instantly. 3 seconds. That was all it took. The fire was gone. The plasma field came back online. The grill continued to heat as if nothing had happened. The station's computer scanned the room. Fire extinguished, no damage detected, air quality normal, emergency protocols deactivated. Silence fell over the kitchen. Everyone stared at Daiho. He picked up his cooking tongs and flipped the pork belly. The sizzling sound returned. The delicious smell grew stronger. "In Korean restaurants," Daiho said calmly, "small fires happen sometimes. It is not a problem if you know what to do." He looked at Velnus and smiled. "Now, does anyone want to try some real food?" Velnus stared at him. Her 4 arms hung at her sides. She did not know what to say. This human had just started a fire on a space station, put it out with a pot lid, and then asked if anyone was hungry. She had never met anyone like him before. After the fire was out, nobody left. The emergency was over, but the crowd stayed. They could not make themselves leave. The smell of cooking meat held them like invisible hands. Daiho looked at all the faces watching him. He saw curiosity and confusion and something that looked like hunger. Real hunger, not the simple need for nutrition that these beings knew. "Sora," he called to his friend, "we are going to need more pork." Sora understood immediately. She sent a message to the human food storage. More meat was on the way. While they waited, Daiho began to prepare the side dishes. He cut kimchi into pieces and put it in small bowls. He made samjang sauce, mixing the soybean paste with sesame oil and garlic. He washed fresh lettuce leaves and arranged them on a plate. The crowd watched every movement he made. They had never seen food prepared this way. In their world, food came from machines. It was calculated and measured and perfect. But it was not made by hands. It was not made with care and attention. Daiho treated each ingredient like it was special, like it mattered. When the first batch of pork belly was ready, Daiho took a piece with his tongs. He wrapped it in a lettuce leaf with some rice and kimchi and sauce. Then he turned to Velnus, the instructor who had looked at him with such doubt before. "Please," he said, holding out the wrapped food. "Try it." Velnus hesitated. Malorians did not eat food the way humans did. They absorbed nutrients through their skin. They had never put anything in their mouths before, but something about Daiho's face made her reach out. She took the lettuce wrap in one of her 4 hands. "How do I—" she began. "Just put it in your mouth," Daiho said gently. "Chew it slowly. Let your tongue taste it." Velnus brought the food to her mouth. She had a small mouth, not really made for eating, but she pushed the food inside and began to chew. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then her eyes went wide. All 4 of her arms began to shake. Water appeared in her secondary eyes, the small ones on the sides of her head that Malorians used for close-up vision. She was crying. "What is this?" she whispered. "What is this feeling?" "That is flavor," Daiho said. "That is what food is supposed to taste like." After that, everyone wanted to try. Daiho cooked as fast as he could. Sora helped him, handing him ingredients and preparing wraps. More pork arrived from the storage area. The other cooking competition was forgotten. Nobody cared about nutrient cubes or light patterns anymore. They only wanted to taste what the human was making. Torvik the Grundorian came forward. His rocky face showed no expression, but his body was trembling. "I want to try," he said. "My people do not eat solid food, but I want to try." Daiho looked at him carefully. "Can your body handle it? I do not want to hurt you." Sora checked her tablet. "Grundorian biology can process organic matter. They just stopped doing it a very long time ago. It should be safe in small amounts." Daiho gave Torvik a small piece of grilled pork. Just the meat, nothing else. Torvik held it in his stone-like fingers. He brought it to his mouth, which was just a crack in the front of his face. He pushed the meat inside. The effect was immediate. Torvik's whole body shook. Cracks appeared in his rocky surface, not dangerous cracks, but the kind that happened when Grundorians felt strong emotions. A low sound came from deep inside him. It took Daiho a moment to realize that Torvik was crying too. His species had not cried in millions of years. "My ancestors," Torvik said slowly. "They knew this. They knew this feeling. We forgot. We forgot everything." Lirai the Silfari floated close to the grill. She could not eat physical food. Her body was made of light. But she hovered in the warm air rising from the cooking surface. Her glowing form shifted and changed colors. "I can taste it," she said, her voice full of wonder. "I can taste the heat, the colors of the energy. It is like nothing I have ever absorbed before. It is warm, not just in temperature. Warm in a different way." Daiho smiled at her. "That warmth is called comfort. Food is not just about nutrition. It is about feeling good, feeling cared for, feeling like someone wanted to make something special just for you." The hours passed. Daiho cooked and cooked. His arms grew tired. Sweat ran down his face, but he did not stop. More and more beings came to taste his food. Word spread through the entire station. By the end of the day, over 300 aliens had eaten from his grill. Some of them had not eaten solid food in their entire lives. Some of them came from species that had given up eating thousands of years ago. Some of them did not even have mouths. They found other ways to experience the warmth and the smell. All of them felt something they had never felt before. Connection, joy, the simple happiness of sharing a meal. When the last piece of pork was gone, Daiho finally sat down. He was exhausted. But when he looked at the faces around him, alien faces that he had never seen smile before, he felt something powerful in his chest. His grandmother had been right. Food was love made visible. And today, he had shown that love to the whole galaxy. 1 week after the cooking demonstration, Daiho stood in front of the Academy board. 5 high-ranking officials sat behind a long table. They were from 5 different species, and they all looked very serious. Velnus stood at the side of the room, her 4 arms folded across her chest. The head official, an old being with silver skin, read from a tablet. Yun Daeho, Human Representative. During the Culinary Academy demonstration, you caused a station-wide emergency alert. You violated fire safety protocols. You disrupted the scheduled program. You turned a simple competition into chaos. Daeho nodded. He did not try to defend himself. Everything the official said was true. Because of these violations, the official continued, you are officially disqualified from the competition. You receive 0 points. Your cooking method cannot be accepted as part of our standard program. Sora, who was standing behind Daeho, made a small sound of disappointment. But Daeho just kept nodding. He had expected this. Then the official smiled. It was a strange smile, hard to read on his alien face. However, he said, we have created a new category this year, a special category that has never existed before. We call it Cultural Significance. He put down his tablet and looked directly at Daeho. In this category, we measure something that we have never measured before. We measure how food makes people feel. We measure connection. We measure joy. We measure the ability to bring different species together through shared experience. The other officials nodded. One of them, a Grundorian like Torvik, had cracks of emotion visible on his face. In this category, the head official continued, Yoon Daeho has received the highest score in Academy history. Perfect marks in every measurement. Nothing we have ever seen has brought so many beings together in such a short time. Daeho felt his heart jump. He had not expected this. He had thought he would leave the station in shame. Instead, they were honoring him. Velnis stepped forward. The Academy Board has also made another decision, she said. Her voice was different now, warmer. We want to add human cooking to our official program, not to replace our existing methods, but to teach alongside them. We want to build more of your plasma grills. We want to train students in your techniques. You want to teach aliens to cook Korean food? Daeho asked, hardly believing what he was hearing. We want to teach them to cook all human food, Velnis said. And not just here. We want to send this knowledge to other stations, to other planets, to everywhere. 6 months passed. The Galactic Unity Station became a different place. The smell of cooking now drifted through hallways that used to smell like nothing. Daeho's small restaurant was always full. He had to hire help, alien help. Torvik the Grundorian became his first apprentice. The big rocky creature learned to cook with surprising skill. His stone hands were perfect for handling hot pans. Liere came every day. She could not eat, but she sat near the grill and absorbed the warm light. She said it made her feel peaceful. She had started to teach other Silferi about the beauty of thermal energy. Some of them were traveling to the station just to experience it. Velnis visited often, too. She had developed a taste for kimchi. She absorbed it through her palms, and she said it made her feel alive in a way that nutrient solutions never had. She had become one of the strongest supporters of the human cooking program. The Galactic Council officially recognized Korean barbecue as a cultural treasure of the cosmos. Other human chefs were invited to stations throughout the galaxy. The plasma grill design was shared freely with anyone who wanted it. For the first time in thousands of years, aliens were learning to cook with heat. One evening, as Daeho was closing his restaurant, a small alien child walked in. The child was from a species Daeho had never seen before. She had big eyes and thin arms and a curious expression on her face. Behind her, her parents waited nervously in the doorway. "Is this the place?" the child asked. "The place where they make the food that smells good?" Daeho smiled and knelt down to her level. "Yes, this is the place. Have you ever tried human food before?" The child shook her head. "No, my people do not eat. But I wanted to see. I wanted to know why everyone talks about it." Daiho looked at the child's parents. They nodded, giving permission. He turned back to his grill and cooked one more piece of pork belly. He wrapped it carefully in lettuce with rice and sauce. Then he handed it to the child. "First time trying Korean food?" he asked. The child nodded, her big eyes full of wonder. Daiho's smile grew wider. He thought of his grandmother, of her kitchen on Earth, of all the meals she had made with love. He thought of how far that love had traveled, across space, across species, across time. "Welcome to the family," he said.